Okay, so a lot of people have been asking us about force flow again. I've done lots of demonstrations on force flow. We usually do our demonstrations live because, to me, live movement is what it's all about. My courses, my blueprint course and all my structural courses explain all this stuff in a lot of detail. So I probably haven't felt the need to explain it more because obviously people want to know about it. There's tons of information on the courses. To explain it in one clip, you can't really do. I'm going to just demonstrate a few things. People have asked me to show something, so I will. But it's still limited. You know, the reason I've written a book on it, the reason I've done all the courses is because it's not one thing, right? It's layered, it's lots of information. So on a very simplistic, very basic level, very simple level, I'll show you a few things. People ask about push-pull we use is one of our mental methods. I can de-link, I can link, I can push, I can pull, I can absorb and swallow, I can spit, I can redirect, right? I can do lots of different things. They're all mental methods, right? For us, that's not force flow. They're modalities inside aspects of what you might do in force flow, but that's not what force flow is about. Force flow is about sequencing, it's about how you use the timing in your body, it's about how you use your joints, it's how you do these things, right? So it's a different layer of depth of use, right? Not to say push and pull, pulling by itself isn't useful, of course it is, but that's just not the same thing, right? It's just different things, right? So again, I'm not saying which one's better or worse, I'm just saying if you're putting out clips saying you're doing force flow and you're not, it's a bit silly to me because it's like put out clips doing what you know, right? And if you don't know something, then go and learn it or go to someone who does know how to do it. People say, oh, you don't own the word. You don't own anything. That's fine. But if you're going to use a word, then use it in the right context, right? Otherwise, again, who looks silly, right? So that stuff is strange to me, right? Anyway, back to the business, right? So push and pull, or if I want to eject somebody, right? People ask me to do it as a demo. It's so easy in a demo. It's much harder in reality. I like to do it in reality. I don't like to do it in the demo so much because it's just a bit fake. But if I want to push, some people step forward and they drop their body weight. That will give me a downward vector and a downward weight. That causes a downward drag, which allows me to build up forward momentum. So that's how some people get their push force, right? They step in and then they can eject someone very easily, right? So it's easy to do that, right? Because what I'm doing is dropping my weight down. I can some people push with the shoulders, like you see low level students who push with the shoulders. High level will push more from the hips, and the super high level can start to use the connected chain for the whole body. So they can start to get a lot more power. Right? But that, to me, is not what we do anyhow. I mean, it's something that's applicable. If I was in a situation where I step in, sink my weight, step in, I would press rise into them, and then I would eject through the person more, right? So it's slightly different ejection, right? Sorry. All the way from Finland, my teacher calls it air tube. We send you back with an air tube. Okay? But force flow is more subtle than that. It's not a push, it's a pulse, right? So if someone pushes towards me, push towards me. If he's not pushing towards me, I can lower my own weight and I can pulse somebody, right? Okay? If he pushes towards me, it makes it much easier because I get the reaction force much easier if he's pushing weight towards me. So if someone pushes away, I can push him and pulse him, right? If I step in on somebody and I lower my weight, I can then steal the pressure and still cause that reaction. I can build that reaction force, right? If they push towards me, it makes it much easier, right? The reason we don't step a lot in our chi sao is we do step in our chi sao, right? We've just shown that we don't step in our chi sao because when you're rolling people who don't have the level of control of the body, you don't need to step, right? For us, stepping around people, which some people will step around people a lot, we don't do that because I'm walking into his power shot all the time, right? For us, what we like to do is control someone, take their balance, and then make them around you. So now I can strike into him, right? So he's off balance. Now he's around me, not off balance. If I try to go around him when he's in balance, he can then attack me or punch me. Right? So my goal is to disrupt his balance and take him off balance and then control him, right? My goal is to make him lose balance and I can strike him and then I can eject him, right? Okay? What I don't want to do is go around him. For stepping, if I've got a good level of skill and I'm outskilling my opponent, I don't need to step too much. And that's a test of my force flow and reaction force. Right? So as we're rolling, as he's pushing towards me, I'm using my body to control the forces in my body. So as he pushes me, I can load and control. If he tries to pull me, then I can release him and get rid of him, right? It's not, if someone pushes and pulls, it actually gives me space to come in, space to control them, right? it actually gives me more elastic quality, right? So push and pull someone who's got good force by return is not really the answer. The answer is to try and break their balance and try to offset their force flow, right? So when we roll, we're neutral, and I try to offset his position. So he pushes towards me now. I've already loaded weight. I'm already controlling him. See, I'm already controlling his the bones of his body, right? So when we're rolling, we want to get that feeling of who's in charge of the body. We're not just looking to try and strike and step in and hit. That's one aspect of the training. But for us, the most important aspect is, do we control the body? If I control the body, then the strike is for free, right? Then it's easy. Once I control the body and I strike, then I have control of everything, right? So basically, he pushes, I load, I can pulse. Yeah. I can use action force where I just de-link. Okay. Often then I want to take off to the side. He's on the side now. I'm in a good position now. Look, I can step in. Right? Very easy to step in and use a push, right? Or I can step in tight, and I can use my body to pulse in and control his weight. Sink, right? So then he tries to come up, now I sink, right? Then I release it, and then we hook. See, that's how you use your push-pull, is through the joints of the body, not just pushing, pulling in one direction. It's every direction. So like a spear, I'm pushing, pulling, expanding, contracting. Right? There's a lot of happening in my body. See, I don't need to move. I'm testing my stance. If I can move him around and not move, there's a good test of how much control, force I have through my body. If I have to move him like this, see, there's times where he can pull and push me as well. So it becomes more of a trying to move my mass too much. Right? I want to control my center of mass, and I want to use that to take control of him. Right? He pushes towards me, I want to control him, expand. Right? That's what we're doing. If I want to step in, of course, when I strike, I can step in, take control, take his balance out. If I turn to the side, and I strike, I move, I can do lots of different things, right? There's lots of things you can do, right? If he strikes towards me, I can strike, come in, I can use my knee, I can push him, right? So there's lots of things we can do. But for basic chi sao is a training drill, it's not fighting. It's training fighting skills. So my first skill for us is, can I control my center? Can I control my position, right? So when we're rolling, can I control my body position, right? So now I can eject him and control my weight. So I don't have to step to push, pull, control, right? Okay, he pushes towards me, can I rebound the pressure, right? Okay, he pushes, can I delink, take my balance, step in, right? So there's so many layers, right? That's why it's not a simple explanation, it's not a simple task. It's not a simplistic skill, so it's a complex skill. The answer becomes simple, it looks simple when you push and pull somebody with all these things going on. It's not really push and pull, right? If you push and pull someone just dynamically, that is push and pull, right? So what we're doing is very different. Okay? There's a lot more layers to it. The force flow takes a lot more cultivation of skill in how you train the forms, how you train your drills. It's all linked. It's not just a skill that you can just add and say, oh, this is force flow. It's not the same skill. There's a much deeper layer of skill. So I hope that helps.